Hey guys, this is our first attempt at doing a Q&A for TRAILin. And if you don't know what TRAILin is, it's our adventure blog for our family. Like Truckin', the Griff Dead song, but TRAILin. We, family of 4, 2 adults, 2 kids, and we set out on a full-time adventure cross country 6 months ago. We haven't have really any plans on stopping indefinitely, so we're just gonna keep trailing along. So moving forward, we have our Q&A session today. So as a full-time family on the road, we get asked a lot of questions that are of the same similar nature. And if you already are a full-time family living in an RV, you have heard these questions more than once. But if you haven't, you are curious, and that's why you ask them, which is fine. So the number one question that probably any family that's on the road gets asked is, why did you decide to do it? And the reason was, about 2 years ago, we were living in a very nice house in the suburbs of North Atlanta, and my husband was working a job, 60 plus hours a week. The schedule he held was just not conducive to the thriving of our family. I stay home and homeschool and also run a part-time business at the time. So him being gone for all different shifts for different days of the week, every month was different. So we never had any sort of consistency. And we might go 3-day stretches with only seeing him for maybe 2 hours a day. So we weren't communicating well, we weren't thriving, and basically he's working this job just to support this lifestyle that we aren't in love with, we're not thriving, we don't see the future of it. It was just kind of like we were treading water. So at the time we were going to couples counseling and to find out how to fix this. And I just had this aha moment that it was time to take this leap of faith and make the change. He didn't really quite know what to think about it at first, but I just let it marinate in his head, and a week went by and he was game. So we decided that we were going to sell the house. At the time, the housing market, if we had sold the house that day, we wouldn't have made any money off of it. It just hadn't rebounded from the recession. And we would have paid it off, but we wouldn't have had any money in the bank. But we weren't ready to sell it anyways. We had a lot of just DIY fixer-upper stuff that we wanted to make it move-in ready. We didn't want to sell it as is. So we decided for the next at least a year, we were going to fix the house and do our research. We did not, prior to our current RV, ever own an RV, ever stay in an RV, ever haul an RV. So this was our completely new situation to us. We just knew that it was a destiny that we were willing to go down that road. And so it took us from the aha moment to buying the RV 15 months. The house, it probably took a year for us to finally get all the completions done. We were in a super hurry, and plus we wanted to wait for spring because that's the prime selling time, I guess, for houses to be sold. So we worked at getting the house ready, put it on the market spring, and within a week had a contract. So 6 weeks later we had the house sold, and within that 6-month time we bought our RV and our truck. So that's another video time because that was kind of nutso. So yeah, so that's the primary reason. We just needed a complete lifestyle overhaul. It was so far the best decision we could have come up with, because we do not regret it for one instance. That house, it served our purpose, it served our needs. Same with my husband's job. We lived there for 8 years, and our kids grew up there, and we'll have lots of great memories. But the memories that we will have from this experience and moving forward, I think, will far exceed anything that ever happened in that house. Question number 2. How do you make money while we're on the road? So the part-time job that I had while I was living in our house in Atlanta was a business I'd come up with called Hippie Hoopla. And you might see I've got some necklaces on, and that's what I do. I make healing jewelry with Baltic amber and hazelwood and some crystals here and there. It was just a business that happened out of thin air. A lot of babies wear amber necklaces for teething, and so did my kids. And I just was getting a ton of questions about our youngest amber necklace. And if I had a necklace to sell somebody, every time they asked me about it, I could have a side gig. And so that's what I did. It's not materials that you can go to like Joann Fabrics or Michaels to purchase, so you do have to do some due diligence in, acquiring the materials. You get them from Lithuania and Canada, and so it's not something everybody can do, because you have to kind of take another leap of faith and find a vendor overseas and sort of communication with them and a relationship with them. So anywho, I was doing a lot of just local stuff for friends, and then I started an Etsy shop, and the Etsy shop over time just started building its own entity, and I started to realize that more people were purchasing from states outside of mine than from the one I lived in. So that to me means that it wasn't as much word of mouth anymore as it was just algorithms and Etsy that were happening and were taking off. And eventually I got on Amazon Handmade, and we had set up our own website. So between those three entities, this little part-time business became a full-time business. And I wasn't putting a lot of time into it, to the fact that things were happening so fast. And I was like, well, what if my husband didn't actually work his job, and him being home and with the family created more time and energy and space to take this business from something we're not putting a lot of energy into, but is making money, into becoming a family business where all hands on deck. We have all the time and energy in the world to put to it. It should start to create or generate more money, correct? So that was the other leap of faith that we took. So we decided that that was going to be our way to make money on the road. So back to 2 years ago, when we decided to start RVing, to do the RV journey, we made a list of all the things, like, what can my husband do remotely? Can he do anything on the computer? He knows about computers. He doesn't know, excuse me, a ton. So he was able to teach himself computer coding. So it took him 6-8 months, just home study, free courses online. I had a friend who kind of helped us set up what order to do them in. If he had questions, he'd answer them. It was a huge help. So we had thought that that was the path that he would go down for helping bring in money for the family. And in the end, by the time we launched, the business was doing well enough where we kind of thought, well, if he starts working for another company or freelancing with this computer coding thing, that's time he's not putting into the business. And could we be generating more money with our own business rather than him working part-time for someplace else? So the answer was, let's see how it shakes out with our own business, and if need be, he could probably get some kind of side gig to bring in some extra cash. So Hippie Hoopla is our main resource of money. We did make money from the sale of our house. Again, if we had sold it that week we decided to RV, we would have made any money. But 2 years later, housing market bounced back, and we made more than we paid for it. And more than it was praised for. And so we worked our butts off to get that house in move-in ready shape. So there really wasn't much the person could, shake us down to a lower number for, because it was just that move-in ready. So we also have another endeavor that we're doing while we're on the road. It's called TRAILin. That's how you probably found this video, is through our TRAILin website. And we're trying to create a lifestyle adventure business. So we've always been active outdoor people. We like adventure. Obviously, we are traveling or trailing. So we're pretty confident that we can take this new idea and create another side business to generate extra income. I also sell doTERRA oils. I am not in any way, shape, or fashion making money for doTERRA oils. I've been a rep for 3 years, and it's really just to get a discount and sell to friends. But I also make jewelry with lava diffuser beads, so it kind of all ties in together. But again, if we needed to really generate more money, I could decide to go down that path and really put energy into perhaps that, and again, to create more money. So yeah, that's basically it for how we make money. We're trying to save money, so we're not just having it go out in ways as far as boondocking. So boondocking just means you're not hooked up to anybody's sewer or electrical, which means you're not paying somebody to stay on their property to have that. So like we took our new rig and we outfitted it with extra batteries. We're looking into solar. We, you know, hopefully a compost toilet is in our future. So we can sustain living off the grid for days or weeks at a time. So we aren't, there's no money going out the door to have to stay someplace. And also we joined a RV club called Thousand Trails. A lot of RVers utilize this because basically it's a yearly membership and you can stay at any of their places across the country, and it's depending on the hookup, it's $3 to $5 a night. If you decide to go with like a lifetime membership, you pay on top of the yearly membership however amount that you pay for that year, that lifetime membership. Some people buy used, some people buy new, so just it's kind of like airline tickets. Depends on who, where, what, and why you bought the tickets. So far we are not at a lifetime level. We've considered it, we're thinking about it. We haven't been in it long enough to kind of pull the plug on that, but it would still be saving us money regardless of if we did it or not. So I think we'll end up doing it. So yeah, so, you know, we have spent in the past upwards of over $1,000 for a monthly stay. So imagine going from that to the next month not paying anything. And nothing, months and months. So again, ways you can save money. So we make money, we save money, it all kind of ebbs and flows together. So another question is, why did we decide on the model RV that we got? We bought a Grand Design Reflection 2016 BHS, yeah, mid-bunk. So mid-bunk, it's a newer concept, so not a lot of people know about it. We didn't know about it until we just happened to run into one when we went to an RV show. Basically, if you want a bunkhouse in your RV, you're going to typically see those in the back of the rig, and it'll have anywhere from 2 to 4 like bunk bed style sleeping areas for your kids. So with that being in the back of the RV, it leaves a smaller living room space for the family. Which we were excited about. Again, going from like close to 3,000 square feet to 400 square feet, you know, as much room as we could have with that transition seemed the better in our eyes at the time. So we came across the mid-bunk, and the thing about the mid-bunk is, instead of having that bunkhouse at the back, you have this smaller room that's in the middle, kind of right when you enter into your RV. And some also come with a loft that's atop. What this does is create a bigger living room space. So instead of maybe just having like a dinette and a 2-person couch in the slide, you also have the whole back part. There's usually like an island, and it's humongous. And we really fell in love with it. So like, how much time do we spend in our rooms? Not very much at all. So we wanted to utilize the space we would be in the most, which we thought would be the living room. And we were right. So, like I said, the mid-bunk comes with the middle room, and then ours came with the loft up top. Not all mid-bunks have lofts up top, so do your research if that's what you're trying to achieve. We liked the loft up top because we have 2 girls, and they're 4 years apart, and the second one is entering tweendom eventually. And if she decides She needs her space. We're going to give it to her. Loft becomes hers. Problem solved. But for now, it's just an extra area for them to chill out, playroom, extra toy storage. So we're extremely happy with the choice that we made with that. The price that we paid, not monetarily, but figuratively, I guess, is that with a mid-bunk, you're not going to find many that are under 40 feet. So that becomes problematic with trying to stay places like national parks, some state parks. A lot of these places, they built their campgrounds when RVs were much smaller. So their spots can only really hold up to a 35-foot rig. So again, we decided to go with a 40-foot. So we are not able to get into a lot of places that we want to go to. But that is okay, because since we are outfitting our rig to sustain itself without hookup, we can boondock outside of a lot of these national parks like Joshua Tree and Yellowstone and Grand Canyon, you name it. So you boondock outside, you know, you get your national parks pass, you kind of come and go all day, do your sightseeing, and you just come back to your RV, which you're not paying anything to stay at. So problem solved. Alright, so enough about the trailer. So before we launched, the number one question I did get before we launched was, where are you going first? So we launched from Atlanta. We actually went to North Georgia in the mountains because we had relatives who already had an RV park lot up there. And a lot of the other lots, people rent them out. So husband was still working, house was still in transition of selling. We bought the RV before those two things came to a conclusion. So we got the RV and moved it up there and rented that space for the summer. And we were able to slowly move all of our stuff out of the house into the RV. For better or worse, at the time it seemed like it was better, but we probably kept more stuff that way. But since purged. So yeah, we launched from Atlanta, went up to Cleveland, and from there we did kind of a little, we went east, did a little coastal swing, South Carolina, Georgia, and back to Atlanta. So that was probably like a 5-6 week little kind of shakedown trip, you might say. And once we left Atlanta, we kind of felt like we were officially on the road, because we just were going from places that we already knew. We already like had family at those places, so it's like we felt safe. But once we left Atlanta, heading west, we were going to areas that were a little more unknown and farther away from home base. So yeah, we had no plan initially where we were going to go first. Everything has been kind of planned maybe 2 to 4 weeks out. I always thought we were good planners, but apparently not. We can't seem to make plans further than a month out. We kind of have ideas, but when it comes down to like go time to pushing the button for reservations, we really wait till last minute, which can be not awesome because a lot of places fill up, especially wintertime. And we kind of thought like, man, we're headed into Southern California, wintertime, snowbirds, these places are going to be full. And they were. So a couple of our top choices to stay in the San Diego area were not available the first few times we checked. And again, we joined 1,000 Trails, and between that and what we found out, we were able to make it work. So everything works out the way it's supposed to. Firm believer. So yeah, so I hope that helped answer some questions. Try to keep doing a few more of these Q&As, because I know people have all sorts of questions, from where do you store your shoes to how big is your fridge, how do you all share one bathroom, how many miles per gallon do you get with your truck? I mean, the questions are endless. And until somebody actually comes and stays and sees an RV, they really have no clue what it is of us living in it. So people, after they've actually already been here, like, okay, now I know, it all makes sense, and it's amazing. So, but anywho, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.